This is a 2016 Korando Sport 2-litre turbo diesel automatic. If you get a knocking noise coming from the front hub, you've got these things, which are basically air lockers. You've got two vacuum tubes here. So when the engine's off, you can turn the wheel and the drive shaft will turn, and when the engine's running and it's in two-wheel drive, you can turn the drive shaft, turn the wheel, and this drive shaft will hang free, won't spin, because you've got a vacuum line just here, two vacuum lines which pull a collar in and out, which weirdly vacuum is needed all the time to freewheel hub these drive shafts, and then when you switch the engine off, the vacuum is released and the collar slides back, so it just keeps it free and moving. But when you actually engage four-wheel drive, that's done back there on the transfer box, and of course the vacuum is such that the shaft is engaged on the actual hub. But what happens is these have got some sort of bellows inside that fails, and what the shaft starts chattering because it constantly starts trying to engage, and eventually will ruin the teeth on the drive shaft in the hub. And it should look more like this one. This is another one from the other side that had just started to fail, but if you press it up and down, you can actually hold it by putting your fingers over the end. You can feel the air coming out. When they've failed, push it up and down, no air's coming out of there. The bellows inside are split or whatever's inside. But what you've got to do is, on this particular one, take the tiny nut out the centre there, take the brakes off, break the bottom ball joint, break the top ball joint, take the track rod end off, take the air hose and the drop the caliper up there. Then you can drop this forward, pull the drive shaft out the back, unclip all the ABS that goes along here, unclip this, unplug it there. Don't need to take the sensor out, and you can take the whole hub off, and then once it's off you can unbolt it just on the 3 bolts, take it off. When it comes to going back on, we had an issue. The clearance here is terrible, so you might have to leave this unbolted, slide it over here, put the hub back on, and then bolt it back in, because you'll find that this ball joint, if they're not bolt-on ones, actually hits this collar. The other thing we've actually done is change this wishbone as well, which if you need to change one of them, same again, break the ball joints and everything, take them off. But what we found was, if you undo the steering rack, just these bolts here, and on that side you can lift the steering rack away enough to get this bolt out here. This bolt goes through to here, which you can't get out because it hits the rack. But just unbolt the rack and there'll be enough play in it that you can push this up and away and get that bolt out. If you've got to do a bottom ball joint, because once the ball joint's gone, you're changing the whole wishbone.